Welcome everyone to leg 2 of the world tour. We're here in beautiful Teton State, Washington on the Rimrock Lake. Early morning flight here using live weather. If you'd like to join, there's still some time. The airport information, the airport identifier code is 4S6. I have it in the video comments. We'll be flying to Portland, Oregon, and the Portland International Airport, and with some sightseeing stops at Mount St. Helens and Mount Adams along the way. So we'll go ahead and get ourselves in the aircraft and ready to go for this early morning flight out of Teton State and into the beautiful mountains. So I'm going to head into the cockpit and let's go ahead and get the checklist rolling, get this plane started up. So we'll start with our pre-flight inspection in the cockpit. Aircraft documents are checked, parking brakes set, ignition off, avionics switches off, battery switch on, fuel quantity indicators checked. Yep, we're about 75% total. Low fuel left and right are off. Avionics bus switches on. Assume that we do hear the avionics cooling fan. We'll turn off the avionics switches. Static pressure alt source valve is in. Annunciator panel test. It's good. Fuel selectors both. Fuel shutoff valve open. Flaps down. And pitot heat. Let's turn it on, see if it's working. We'll watch the ammeter right here. Yep, quick bump. We'll assume it's working. Battery switch off. And elevator trim to neutral. Alright, there we go. We got all that set. Pre-flight inspection of the cockpit's complete. We'll take a quick look outside the aircraft. Everything looks good. And wow, what a beautiful morning here in Washington State. Alright, before starting engine checklist. Pre-flight inspection complete. Seats and belts adjusted and locked. Electrical equipment, it's all off. Avionics switch bus 1 and 2 off. Fuel selector to both. Yep, there we are. Fuel shutoff valve open. Before starting engine checklist complete. Starting engine checklist. Throttle open 1/4 of an inch. Mixture idle cutoff. Propeller area clear. Clear prop. Battery switch on. Whoops, not the alternator. The battery. There we go. Mixture rich. Auxiliary fuel pump on for 3 to 5 seconds. We have some fuel flow. Alright. Auxiliary fuel pump off. Mixture back to lean. And we have the brakes on. Ignition to start. Alright. Got a good start there. Bring the throttle back to 1,000 RPM. It's looking good. Alright. Starting engine check complete. After starting engine check, throttle adjust to 1,000 RPM. Oil pressure is checked. The temperature is in the good. Range 2 alternator on. Battery's getting charged now. Alternator indicators off. Ammeter checked. Avionics bus 1 and bus 2 switches on. Radios on and transponder to standby. There we go. Flaps, we'll get those up. Heading indicators set. Looks like we should be at about 225. That's what we're showing there. Great. Altimeter. I'll have to get that here in just a second. Let me check the airport elevation here. Let's take a look at the. Here we go. Let's take a look at the sectional chart. So there's not automated weather at this airfield, so we're gonna have to just set our altimeter based on the field elevation. So if we come up here to Teton State, we see that the field elevation is 2,964 feet. And so that's what we'll get our altimeter set to. So let me get this window out of the way for us. I'm going back to the sim. So 2964, so we need to raise it just a bit. So there's 2960. I'll give it one little bump. So we'll assume it's 3005. Altimeter set, attitude indicator set. App starting engine check complete. Taxi check. Taxi light as required. Turn that on when we're moving. Landing light as required. Strobe on. We'll get that before takeoff. Nav lights on. Parking brake. Release. And so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's taxi for just a minute. We'll check the brake. Check the turn coordinator. It's good. Compass is working. Heading indicator's working. Alright, we'll stay here for just a second while we finish this. And compass is working. Taxi check complete. Let's go ahead and do our run-up check before we take the runway. Parking brake is set. Area is clear behind us. There's nobody out here. We're kind of in the wilderness. Pilot and passenger seat backs, most upright position. Seats, belts are secure. Flight controls, let's check, make sure these are free and correct. Ailerons are looking good. And elevators are moving just fine. Okay, perfect. Flight instruments are set. We're going to be taking off runway 21. I'm going to set the heading bug onto our runway heading here, just so we keep everything consistent. And we'll be climbing up to 8,500 feet eventually. We'll pick up VFR flight following when we're getting closer to Portland International. And we're going to be heading out to the south and west toward Mount Adams and then eventually Mount St. Helens to Portland. Okay, fuel quantity indicators checked. They're good. Mixture rich. Fuel selector both. Autopilot engage. And flight controls move against autopilot. There it goes. It disconnected. Autopilot off. Throttle set to 1800 RPM. There we go. Let's check the mags. So there's the left. Dropped within 150 RPM. And the right. We're within tolerances. So mag check's complete. Vacuum gauge is in the green. Oil pressure and temperature in the green. Ammeter is good. It's checked. Interior panel is clear. Engine idle. Should go to 600 to 650 RPM. And it looks like it's running a little high for some reason. So, we'll adjust to 1,000. I think it's within tolerances for our flight today. So before takeoff check, radio set. We need to be on 122.9, which we are. We're monitoring. That's the common traffic advisory frequency here at Teton State. Avionics are all set. We have our GPS set up to take us to the Mount St. Helens Air Ranch first and then on to Portland. Nav GPS switch is on GPS. Transponder, we'll go ahead and turn that to alt mode. Get mode C going. Move this down. Autopilot's off. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Flaps, we're going to be at 10 degrees flaps for this flight. Let me get this to, there we go. 10 degrees flaps. This is going to be a soft field takeoff. Cabin windows closed and locked. Parking brake will be released. We'll plan to taxi to the end of the runway. I'm going to make a radio announcement here in just a second. It'll be full throttle, rotate 55, climb at 75, and we'll be departing the pattern to the south and east down the valley. Okay, here we go. Let's just take a quick look around. Don't see any animals. That's one threat you could have out here in the wilderness. But looks good. Let's go ahead and make our call.
4 4 Sierra 6 traffic Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha is taxiing to runway 21.
I'm just going to turn on the landing lights, the strobe lights, the nav lights. Let's pull ourselves out here on the runway. I have the yoke pulled all the way back since we're on an unimproved surface. Want to make sure that we do not get a prop strike. We came in to this airfield when it was getting pretty dark. We had just enough light to be able to see it before we landed, coming in from Seattle. There's somebody out here. Alright, looks like this is the end of the runway here. Just out of that grass. It's kind of hard to tell where the runway is and where the oh, this looks like the runway. So we're looking for a heading of about 2. I'm gonna get us lined up, make sure we're alright. We're gonna need all of this runway, so alright, I'm gonna announce our takeoff.
4 Sierra 6 traffic Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha taking off runway 21 departing straight out.
Alright, looks good. So here we go. On to Portland. So I'm going to be trying to use the soft field takeoff technique. So I have the yoke back. We're going to try to lift off the runway here pretty soon, and then accelerate in ground effect. Alright, so we're in ground effect right now. So I'm going to nose over a bit. Let us accelerate up to our 55. Alright, so there we go. There's our 55. We can start climbing out a little more. I'm going to accelerate to 70. See a beautiful lake here, Rimrock Lake. Really fun approach in here last night. So I'm just going to accelerate out over the lake and get our flaps up. So we're at 70. I'm going to raise the flaps. Aircraft is controlling very nicely. We'll lean our mixture back just a bit, since we're at slightly higher elevation. Wow, it's beautiful out here. Try to take us out over this mountain ridge, and we'll try to find our way down to toward Mount Adams here to the south. Let's take a look outside. Wow, that's pretty cool. There's Mount Rainier back behind us. So according to our sectional chart here, looks like the highest point in this first part of the flight is going to be at 8,184 feet. So if you follow a creek that's just to the south of the branch of the lake we took off on, it should take us down toward Mount Adams, just all the way up at 12,276 feet. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So I'm going to try to find that creek. And I think I see it right down there. We'll just kind of follow that for a bit. And there it is. Maybe that's a road. I don't know. Yeah, it's a road. So we'll kind of head this direction. Yeah, if you're watching, if you have Microsoft Flight Simulator, feel free to join in. Just took off from Teton State, 4S6, and should be at Whiskey November 10 when we get down toward Mount St. Helens. So it'll probably be a little while till I get there. But at any point, you're welcome to join. If you go down to 4S6, you'll probably see me on the live map. My screen name is Cron321 on Xbox Live right now, so feel free to hop on in and you can join me. I did put the time to around 7 in the morning, just so we could see the beautiful scenery. Alright, looks like I need to lean the mixture back a little bit more. We're starting to get pretty high here, running. Just gonna have to kind of thread our way through the valley. So I'm going to take us back down here to the east so we can climb a little more through this valley. Right into the sun. Oh man. Yeah, we're getting pretty high here. Yeah, so there's the other side of the mountains, kind of heading out toward Yakima, some other areas. So we should be able to make a turn here back to the south and west. We should be able to see Mount Adams here pretty soon, so we're going to kind of try to head toward Mount Adams. There it is. Look at that. Wow. What a commanding presence that mountain has. Can't miss it at 12,000 plus feet. So we're just going to navigate toward that and then over toward Mount St. Helens. Alright, I'm going to tune to Seattle Center now and request flight following.
Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha is type Cessna Skyhawk 6 miles south of 4 Sierra 6. Request flight following. Southwest 1383, contact Seattle Center on 134.905. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha Seattle Center. Squawk 1552. 134.905 for Southwest 1383. Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha radar contact 7 miles south of 4 Sierra 6, 7,200 feet. Altimeter tree 0.06.
Alright, 3006. I guess I need to acknowledge it here on the flight
Copy,
sim
Cessna
thing.
5 Romeo Alpha.
So we're pretty close there. Used our little bush technique for setting the altimeter. And it works. That must be Mount St. Helens off the nose there. See, it blew its top back in the early 80s. And we'll try to get us over Spirit Lake, see if we can see some of the trees that are maybe still in the lake. I haven't been out there in years, but last time I was at Mount St. Helens, you could definitely tell that it was a devastating eruption. Alright, so there's Mount Rainier up to our north, Mount St. Helens out in the distance, Mount Adams down to our south. And we took off somewhere down in that valley off of Rimrock Lake. We were going to climb up to 8,500 feet for this initial part of our trip out over the mountains. It's kind of fun to be able to do the VFR flying with just navigating to the mountain peaks. Which you can definitely do in this part of Washington State. Degrees outside the airplane. Still pretty warm. So Spirit Lake, I believe, is just to the north of the
Delta 1308 descend and maintain flight level 220.
Yeah, Spirit Lake is to the north of the peak of Mount St. Helens there, so try to go check out Spirit Lake.
Delta 1308 climb and maintain flight level 320.
Alright, there's our initial cruising altitude of 8,500.
Romeo Alpha contact Seattle Center on 134.905.
Oh, we're getting some turbulence.
134.905 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Climb. Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 8,500 feet. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.06.
Alright, still 30.06 on the altimeters. Let's see if I can turn this autopilot on. Heading mode. There we go. I'm going to set the OBS here to 217 is our direct track, so we'll get it set right about there. So there we go. Let's go through our cruise checklist really quickly. So power 2100 to 2700 RPM. which we're in that range, still accelerating for now. Elevator trim set, mixture is lean for altitude, engine gauge is all in the green, EGT still looking good. Fly instruments, check. Cruise check, please.
You are 68 miles southeast. Climb and maintain flight level 280. Expect ILS runway 34 right approach via Box transition.
There's a nice little mountain lake. That'd be a fun one to check out in one of the
Delta 1308 descend and maintain 14,000
aircraft
feet.
that can land on water.
Delta 1308 descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Really cool.
Delta 1308 descend and maintain 7,400 feet. Descend and maintain 7,400 feet. Expect ILS runway 34 right approach via Box transition. Clear to Box Delta 1308. Delta 1308 descend and maintain 6,700 feet.
Yeah, beautiful views out here. Let me pull up the sectional chart again. We can check out the... So we just flew... We're going over the Goat Rocks Wilderness area. Gilbert Peak was just off to our right back there. Goat Rocks. Must be a lot of mountain goats in this area, I'm guessing. Wow, look at some of these lakes out in here. This would be a really neat place to explore. Some more. So it looks like Sunrise Peak is going to be one of our next high points. It's at 5,892 feet, so pretty soon we'll be able to descend a bit if we want to as we head toward Spirit Lake and Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is at 8,365 feet, so maybe we'll get a good view of the summit and where it blew its top. And looks like that lake just down to our south there is, I don't know what that is. Let's see. I think it's Walloped Lake. Walloped Lake down there.
Alaska 706 descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Yeah, you can tell the mountains are getting a little lower up here and a little bit greener.
Alaska 706.
Hey Fraser, thanks for the great question there. Yeah, you can see the occasional trails and roads down there. I do know the roads will have cars on them. I do not believe you'll ever see people walking or bikes down on those dirt roads or trails. Because where we took off from at Teton State, it was kind of an isolated area, and you could see cars. I saw one car drive by as we were taxiing out to the runway for takeoff. That'd be cool though if you could see the bikes and canoes shooting the river rapids, wouldn't it? So, cool question.
Alaska 706.
Maybe somebody can come up with an add-on.
Your assigned altitude.
We'll do that.
Maintain 10,000 feet.
A pretty view there looking down toward Mount Adams. And we're getting rocked around a bit.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Alaska 706.
Not as bad when you're in the sim. But you'll probably be feeling it a little bit if you're in the real plane. Better hope you have a strong stomach. I'm going to turn us very slightly to the
Alaska 706,
south
Seattle
here.
Center on 126.6.
So Spirit Lake's going to be somewhere right in that area where my mouse is, I believe.
126.6 for Alaska 706.
So I'm seeing all these areas for the first time along with many of you as we're flying by. Wow, yeah, there are a lot of roads and these mountainsides. They did a really good job getting some of these jagged peaks in here too. This is just the default scenery, which is pretty incredible. Oh, wow. Alright, so let me close that out. So we're up to the north of the direct line from Teton State. Turn us down south just a little bit more here. We're a little north of the direct line from Teton State to the Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch, but the Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch is quite a bit to the south and even west a little bit of Mount St. Helens and Spirit Lake. So I think there's a mountain lake there just north of Mount Adams, and then we see this river valley coming out toward us. Let's look at our sectional here. We get a little bit better idea of what that is. I think it's this lake right here on the chart, and which would put Randall, Keona, and Strom 39er Papa just to our off our right side here. So let's see if we can find those. Try to keep track of where we are using a little bit of dead reckoning here. Yep, there's the Rifle Lake up there. So Strom and Keona are going to be up that way too. So we're right on track. Yeah, Fraser, I see. Yeah, cool comment there. Yeah, like having a canoe simulator. You can throw it in here. I do know. I remember I had an older flight sim. I think it was 2004, where someone had created a bus, so you could basically drive the bus on the highways they had modeled in the sim. So I remember one time I went from Denver and just headed west into the Rockies, and it worked. And this sim looks a million times better than Flight Sim 2004, so I know you could probably at least drive on some roads here pretty soon. I don't know about the canoeing yet, but that would be cool. Get some mountain canoeing in. Yeah, there's that river valley out there. Headed toward the Rifle Lake. So that's what we're looking at off our right side, is this river here.
And maintain 10,000 feet, horizon error 2516.
Now wonder,
Horizon error 2516, contact Seattle Center on 124.2.
if we can make out the airport over there at all.
124.2, horizon error 2516.
This Randall Keona is, I think it's right in this area maybe. It can be hard to make out the grass and gravel strips, which is actually really true to real life. I mean, when you're really flying, it gets pretty difficult to find airports sometimes.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, contact Seattle Center on 124.2.
124.2.
124.2 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Seattle Center, Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, 8,500 feet. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Seattle Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.06. Horizon error 2516, you are 8,900 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000
Yeah, it's pretty incredible
feet.
how green these mountains are. Really is.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, horizon error 2516. Horizon air 2516, descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
So see whiskey, no, yeah, there's.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet, horizon error 2516. Horizon air 2461, you are 10,000 feet above your assigned altitude.
Yeah, one thing I was
Descend
gonna
and
do
maintain
for this
10,000
flight
feet.
was use Pilot Edge ATC, but I was still having a few issues getting it set up.
Descend
But
and maintain
I might try to
10,000
use it in
feet,
a
horizon air
future
2461.
video here, 'cause I'm hoping to depart out of Portland, Oregon tomorrow afternoon, and maybe use Pilot Edge ATC out of there, flying down the Columbia Gorge to the Dells. So should be some waterfalls along the way, really cool scenery. But just continuing our way, meandering our way south here on this world tour. Okay, so there's Mount St. Helens down there to the left, and you can definitely see how it blew itself apart back in the early 80s. Wow. I can't wait to come up here to Spirit Lake and see if you can see any of the trees in there. I'm guessing they probably have water models where it's not going to be the exact satellite imagery of the lake, at least in the middle, but maybe we'll see some trees along the edges. I'll try to get a pretty decent close-up of the crater.
Horizon air 2516, you are 50 miles north. Descend and maintain 6,700 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach via Schaffer transition. Cleared to Schaffer.
And then Mount Adams still. Mount Rainier.
Descend and maintain 6,700 feet. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach via Schaffer transition. Cleared to Schaffer horizon error 2516.
So there's some pretty incredible videos on YouTube of the Mount St. Helens eruption. If you have not seen those, definitely recommend checking them out. It was before I was born, but I have heard from, talked to many people that were alive during that time, and I mean, I think some of the ash was coming down quite a ways into the Midwest. Quite a ways east of this location. Large parts of the United States were getting some ash from it. Deadly eruption. Some people did not leave the area nearby, and sadly didn't survive. But yeah, it's an area worth checking out. I have not been there since the 90s, and in the 90s you could see all of the quite a few trees just floating all through Spirit Lake here. Just a really eerie sight to see.
Delta Tree 078 descend and maintain 3,500 feet.
Turbulence is really picking up here.
Descend and maintain 3,500 feet. Delta Tree 078. Horizon error 2516. Contact Portland approach on 118.1.
Alright, let's see if we can find
Going to 118.1. Horizon error 2516.
any trees modeled here. Still floating, at least on, maybe on the edges of the lake. Oh. Nothing I can really make out at this point. Some of them might have just completely rotted away. Like I said, I mean, it's been over 20 years since I've been to Spirit Lake. So if any of you have been there, yeah. So Fraser, so you all had some hazy dust-filled air days? Was it because of Mount St. Helens? Wow, yeah, that's a long way from this part of Washington State. Yeah, this is pretty breathtaking looking at this. You can just see all the devastation. I'm guessing all of this is probably left over from the, I don't know if it's a pyroclastic flow or what they would call it. Wow. Incredible, Fraser. That's a long way that ash was traveling. I remember one of my professors in college, he had a jar of some of the ash that he had collected, and he had it sealed up, but we could kind of turn it over and you could just see the consistency of the ash. So that was in one of our aviation classes where we were just talking about how you do not want to fly through volcanic ash. I mean, can you imagine this this entire part of the mountain just kind of blowing apart in front of your eyes. I mean, absolutely mind-boggling to think about. Wow. Well, if you want to check out Mount St. Helens for yourself here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, there is an airstrip just to the south, Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch. It is Whiskey November 10. So I had that added into my flight plan here for easy reference. So if you want to check it out yourself, load it up and hop on out there. Turn this a little bit. Looks like the mountains are really starting to not be quite as high as we head down to the south now. And we'll just kind of hug the slopes of Mount St. Helens. As we head down toward Portland. And it looks like the Sky Ranch is going to be somewhere around these lakes up here. Hello Chrissy, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so now we're on the south side of Mount St. Helens. Still very bare, but definitely not as blown apart as that north side. But looks much different than the other mountains we've passed so far here in Washington State. You can tell there's some serious volcanic activity there. And I guess it's been, what, 40 years now almost? And still pretty wild looking. I'm going to do a flyover of the Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch on our way to Portland, so we can kind of get a survey of what the field looks like.
10,000 feet.
Alright, let me pull up the sectional chart
Descend and maintain
for everyone
10,000
right now
feet,
as we're
horizon air
approaching the
22907.
Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch. So, okay. So we just flew past Spirit Lake and then Mount St. Helens. We're coming down here
Horizon air
to
22907,
Yale Lake
contact
and Lake
Seattle Center on
Merlin.
126.6.
So Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch is only at 450 feet. So
Going to 126.6, horizon air 22907.
no more high altitude flying when you're getting to this point.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha contact Portland approach on 124.35.
Yep.
124.35 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
So we're getting pretty close to Portland now.
Portland approach Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha 8,500 feet. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha Portland approach continue as planned. Altimeter 30.05.
So we should be able to start making out Portland here pretty soon. Let's go ahead and check our airport diagram, get our ATIS frequency up. So pull up the Navigraph charts here. Looks like at Portland International, ATIS is going to be 128.35. So you can see that here on your screen. 128.35 for the Portland ATIS. So let's go ahead and grab that. Put it over here in COM 2. And we'll listen to it as we I'll try to get you a view of the Mount St. Helens Sky Ranch.
Portland Airport information Alpha 1400 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility tree. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,200 feet. Few clouds at 4,300 feet. Few clouds at 12,500 feet. Temperature 2 tree. 2.10. Altimeter tree 0.04. ILS runway 28 left and ILS runway 28 right in use. Landing and departing runway 28 left and runway 28 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Alpha.
Alright,
Portland Airport in
so we have Alpha now. So we'll be landing on 28 left. We'll go ahead and we'll plan for the visual here in just a second. I want to try to find the airport. I'm going to turn the autopilot off for a second so we can do a quick 360. I'm going to try to get us a view of it. Let's see. See if we can find it here. There's a dam. I'll do a steep turn. Mount St. Helens back behind us. Sloppy steep turn. Part of the steep turn though is having your feelings. I'm not sure where this the Sky Ranch is somewhere down there right below us. So check it out sometime. Maybe it's there, but if you want to check out Mount St. Helens, it's a great place to start. So 184 is going to be our direct track now from this point back to down to Portland for our final destination. And we're only 24 miles away. Alright, we'll pop the autopilot back on for a second so we can brief the approach. It's going to do the aggressive capture of the direct track to the course toward Portland. That's Mount Hood that we can see down there in the distance. The rather prominent peak. I'm going to hop outside the aircraft for a second. So Mount St. Helens Sky Range, it's somewhere in that area, but I'm guessing it's a grass strip according to what we saw on the sectional chart, and it blends in really well, just like they do in real life. Alright, I'm going to pull up the... We're in two-way communication right now. And they've set our call sign on Portland approach, so we can enter the Class Charlie.
Delta 1083 descend and maintain 3,700 feet.
Alright. So we're looking here at Portland, Oregon. So they're landing to the west, 28 left and 28 right. And it looks like the general aviation terminal and parking is on the north side of the airport right here. So we'll try to land on 28 right. And when we get there, it's going to be a left-hand turnoff. We can probably get off pretty quickly at Alpha 3. Maybe at Alpha 4. 9,825 feet of runway is available. There's a hot spot at Alpha 3 and one at Alpha 4 there. So let's take a look at that. Hot spot 4 at Alpha 3. Pilots taxiing outbound from the GA ramp via Alpha 3 sometimes miss the turn on the Alpha. Okay, so that's if you're taxiing out. Hot spot number 3. Same thing, pilots taxiing outbound from the general aviation ramp via Alpha 4 sometimes miss the turn on to Alpha and they enter the runway. So that'd be bad. We're going to be exiting the runway, so that shouldn't be as much of a threat for us. But we'll plan to turn off at left at Alpha 3 or Alpha 4. Alright. And the other thing, I'm going to back it up with the ILS 28 right here. So I'll pull that up. So ILS to 28 right. 111.3 will be the frequency, and highest obstacle is terrain down to the south and east. Happy on the right is what we're looking for. But I'm not going to brief the full ILS, but just so we're aware of what's around as we're approaching. Okay, very good. I'm going to...
on 123.775 Delta 1083.
Close that out.
Skywest 346 to your 13 miles south. Climb and maintain 3,600 feet. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach by Whalap transition. Cleared to Whalap. trim and maintain 3,600 feet. Expect ILS runway 28 left approach via Whale transition. Cleared to Whale Skywest tree 462.
That's cool. So you can see Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Adams all in one shot. Really cool. Yeah, Fraser, charts and maps. So the sectional charts, like I'm going to pull up here, these are from SkyVector. So you go to skyvector.com. They are free of charge. And I actually pull these up on either my cell phone or a tablet off to the side, just on another screen. I'm able to, through my broadcast software, pull up the website, but this is free. The other program I was using is Navigraph Charts. That's a subscription-based service that I use, but it's definitely worth it. You have Jeppesen charts for the entire world, so if you do a lot of flying globally, it's a great thing to have. Alright, it's time for us to start descending. So we're about 11 miles out from the airport.
Descend and maintain 3,600 feet, Skywest tree 462. Skywest tree 462, descend and maintain 3,700 feet. Descend and maintain 3,700 feet, Skywest tree 462.
Alright, so the airport is going to be right in this area here, and I'm going to turn off the autopilot because it is diving us down. I'm hoping they're going to give us 28 right as we're going into Portland here. Fly for Fun, that's a fun name.
Tree 462, descend and maintain 2,900 feet. Maintain
Alrighty.
2,900 feet skywest tree 462.
I don't know if they're gonna, I don't think they're gonna have me contact tower. I'm just going to cancel the flight following and then switch to tower.
Portland approach Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha, cancel flight following.
Can't wait to do this in Pilot Edge
Cessna 5
because
Romeo Alpha, Portland approach cancellation received.
maybe be a little more realistic here.
1200. Frequency change approved. Portland Tower Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha is 5 miles north with Alpha to land. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Portland Tower. Make left downwind runway 28 left. Altimeter tree 0.04 wind calm.
28 left, alright. Okay, so we're going to the left
Make
side.
left downwind runway 28 left Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha.
Let's see if it'll let me, it says select another runway for landing. Let's try this. Let's see if it'll let me go 28 right. Let's request that from the controller.
Portland Tower Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha requests runway 28 right. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha, Portland Tower. Enter left traffic runway 28 right. Altimeter tree 0.04 wind calm. Portland Tower Skywest tree 4629 miles south.
So they want me in left traffic for 28. I bet you it's right traffic if you're going to be flying there in real life to keep you off of the parallel runway, but we'll follow their instructions. So left traffic.
Fly left traffic runway 28 right Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. Cleared ILS runway 28 left approach Skywest tree 462.
Alright, so they want left traffic 28 right. We'll give that to them. Whoa, sorry about that.
Skywest tree 462 cleared to land runway 28 left. Follow the generic on final.
I'm going to keep this pretty tight because
Cleared to land runway 28 left.
I doubt they really want us this close to the parallel. Alright, we're left traffic. We're 28 right. Keep our speed up since we're at a pretty busy airport, and I'll slow us down. We'll probably try to turn base on the other side of this bridge up here.
Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha cleared to land runway 28 right. Wind calm caution, the generic landing runway 28 left.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's...
Cleared to land runway 28 right.
I
Cessna
think I
5 Romeo
see
Alpha.
that might be the traffic landing 28 left.
Portland Tower United tree 9.
Yeah, we need to go on over here onto final so that we don't run into some issues with a traffic conflict.
United tree 9er tree Portland Tower. Cleared ILS runway 28 left approach. Altimeter tree 0.04 wind calm. Cleared ILS runway 28 left approach. United tree 9er tree.
Alright, so here we are. I'm gonna slow us down a bit. I'm really high right now, but we can make it work. There's a wide arc. Do a few S turns here, really slight S turns.
Skywest tree 462 go around.
Or if we cut someone
United
off.
tree 9er tree cleared to land runway 28 left. Follow the generic on final. Wind calm caution, the Cessna Skyhawk landing runway 28 right. Cleared to land runway 28 left. United tree 9er tree.
Alright, we'll be going down to the next left turn. And we need to get off the
Going around
runway.
SkyWest Tree 462. SkyWest Tree 462, contact Portland approach on 124.35.
This is gonna be Alpha 4. Alright.
Portland Tower Delta 258, 210 miles southeast inbound ILS runway 28 right approach. Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha exit runway when able. American 173 exit runway when able. Delta 258 to Portland Tower. Cleared ILS runway.
Alright, welcome to Portland, everyone.
Altimeter
We're on the ground.
0.04 wind calm. Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha contact ground on 132.275. Cleared ILS runway 28 right approach Delta 2582. 132.275 for Cessna 5 Romeo Alpha. American 173 turn. Portland ground Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha taxi to parking. Cessna November 215 Romeo Alpha taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Golf Foxtrot Bravo cross runway 28 left Bravo Juliet.
Okay. I'm actually just gonna be parking straight ahead,
via
so
taxiway Golf Foxtrot Bravo cross runway 28 left Bravo Juliet Cessna 5 Romeo
whatever.
Alpha.
I can't tell them that in this simulator. We're parking at general aviation parking right up ahead. As you can see, all the general aviation aircraft off our nose. So, alright, we're clear left, clear right across the service road. And plenty of spots to park in. I'm just gonna park us right over here between these two guys, and we'll call it a flight. Alright, let's get the parking brakes set. And everything's looking good. I'm going to turn our transponder to standby. And get our avionics switches off. Let's check our magnetos. And it worked, yep. Pull that out, so mixture out, fuel flows out, nav and beacons off, and we'll turn our master switch off. Let's go through our checklist, make sure we did everything on our after landing. Flaps are up, landing lights off, taxi lights off, strobe off, elevator trim, we'll get that set back to neutral. Transponder standby. Turn it off. Parking check, parking brake set, transponder off, avionics switches off, engine idle, magnetos cutoff test, we did that, mixture idle cutoff, and securing check, ignition off, landing light off, taxi light off, navigation lights off, alternator off, battery switch off, fuel selector valve left or right, we'll put it on the left side for now, and securing check complete. Alright everyone, welcome to Portland. Thanks for joining me on this second leg of the world tour from Teton State to Portland, Oregon. If you would like to join me on any of the legs, love to have you around. I'll plan to fly the next leg within the day. So join the Facebook page, VRF Simmer, Instagram, VRF Simmer, or YouTube channel. Love to have you subscribe and check out the videos. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the sky soon.